The courtroom was cold. Not from the air conditioning, but from the silence that followed judgment. You could feel it, the tension, the eyes, the unspoken words waiting to sting. At the center of it all sat Maya Johnson, a single mother, trembling hands clutching a worn purse like it held her last breath of hope. Her hair was pulled back in a tight bun, a few stray curls falling against her tired face. She looked small behind the defense table. But her eyes held something unbreakable. Across from her stood Richard Cole, a high-powered corporate lawyer in a $3,000 suit and a smile sharp enough to cut steel. He didn't see Maya as a person. He saw her as paperwork, as a case to win, as a paycheck. "Your Honor," he began, adjusting his cufflinks, "my client is suing Ms. Johnson for breach of contract. She failed to deliver the agreed services on time, causing significant financial damage." He said it like reading from a script. Confident. Polished. Maya's voice trembled. I didn't fail. My son was in the hospital. He almost... Richard raised a hand. Objection. Irrelevant. The crowd murmured. The judge, her face calm, unreadable, motioned for silence. "Overruled," she said. "Let her finish." Richard's smirk faltered for half a second, then returned. "Of course, Your Honor." Maya took a shaky breath. "I missed one deadline. Because my son had asthma and the hospital was 2 hours away. I called the company, begged for an extension. They said they understood. But then I got a notice saying I was being sued for negligence." She paused. "They ruined my reputation. My small business. Everything I built alone." Richard stepped closer, voice dripping arrogance. "So, what you're saying is, you put your personal problems above your professional obligations?" Maya looked down. Her fingers tightened on the table. He smirked. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly why contracts matter. Feelings don't pay bills. Emotions don't build companies. Competence does." Someone in the courtroom whispered, "Man, he's brutal." Maya tried to stay calm. Her heart hammered. She wasn't just fighting a lawsuit, she was fighting for her dignity. For every late night she spent sewing uniforms, every early morning breakfast she made for her son before school, every time she had to smile through exhaustion just to keep the lights on. Richard turned back to the judge, satisfied. "Your Honor, I move to dismiss the defendant's emotional plea and proceed to judgment." The judge tilted her head slightly. "Mr. Cole," she said slowly, "do you always talk to people like that?" He chuckled softly. "Only when they confuse excuses for evidence." A few people laughed quietly. Maya didn't. She just looked at the judge. Something about her eyes felt familiar, warm, almost protective. The judge leaned forward. "Ms. Johnson, when your son was hospitalized, how long was he there?" "For days," Maya said quietly. "He couldn't breathe. The doctor said if I hadn't gotten him there in time..." Her voice broke. She didn't finish. Richard interrupted again. "With respect, Your Honor, the child's condition is not the concern of this court." The judge's tone shifted. Firm. Cold. "Sit down, Mr. Cole." The room went silent. He blinked. "Excuse me?" I said sit down. The authority in her voice hit like a gavel itself. He sat. Maya looked confused. The judge took off her glasses. Her eyes softened. "Maya Johnson," she said quietly, "it's been a long time." Maya's breath caught. Her lips parted, trembling. "Angela?" Gasps filled the room. The judge smiled faintly. "Yes, it's me." Her voice cracked slightly. "It's been years." Richard looked between them, pale. Wait, what's happening here?" Judge Angela turned to him. "You're cross-examining my sister." The courtroom erupted in whispers. Reporters scribbled. Phones discreetly recorded. Richard stood, stammering. "Why your sister? This is improper. Conflict of interest." Angela's voice was calm but cold as ice. "Conflict of interest would mean I favor her unfairly. What I favor, Mr. Cole, is truth. And something tells me you've been hiding some." Richard's jaw clenched. "This is ridiculous." Angela raised a folder from her desk. "Before this case began, I reviewed the full correspondence logs between your firm and Ms. Johnson. Your client promised her an extension. You conveniently omitted that email from evidence." The color drained from his face. That's not possible." She slammed the folder shut. "Don't lie to me, counselor." Silence. Maya's eyes widened. "Wait, you knew?" Angela nodded slowly. "I always check both sides. Especially when arrogance walks in wearing $1,000 suit." Laughter rippled through the room. Richard's jaw tightened. Angela continued, Ms. Johnson fulfilled her contract within the agreed extension period. The only breach here is the one committed by the plaintiff, an act of malicious intent and defamation. Richard's voice cracked. You can't. I just did, she said. Case dismissed. The gavel hit. It sounded like thunder. Maya gasped. Tears welled up in her eyes. She covered her mouth, shaking. Angela looked at her, eyes soft again. Don't cry, sis. You fought for yourself today. Maya stood slowly, whispering, I thought I'd lost everything. Angela smiled faintly. You lost what wasn't meant for you, and found what you needed, your voice. Reporters rushed forward. Flashes went off. Richard stumbled out of the courtroom, red-faced, his career burning before his eyes. Maya hugged her sister tightly, tears wetting the judge's robe. I can't believe it's you. Angela whispered, I've been watching from afar. I couldn't step in before. But today? Justice needed to remember where it came from. The courtroom began to clear. But one man remained seated in the back. A man in a gray trench coat taking notes. His expression unreadable. As the sisters walked out, he whispered into his recorder, Judge Angela Johnson, personal ties in a federal case. This story's not over. For more true stories and updates, please like and subscribe. It really helps us grow.